Hello and welcome to Diamonds and Duds. I'm Ivan.
And I'm Charles.
Welcome to episode 27, Idiocracy.
Except for the fact we're on 24.
24 Idiocracy.
We are on 24 Idiocracy. Idiocracy 2006. Who are some key players in this movie?
It was Luke Wilson, Maya Rudolph. We have Mike Judge in one of his few directing arcs.
Yeah, and okay, so it's important to know the history with Mike Judge in terms of this movie. He made a cult classic movie, Office Space. If you haven't seen it, it needs to be seen. He was screwed by the studio that basically they released it barely anywhere when they promised him that it was going to be released big. Because he was big at the time because he's the creator of Beavis and Butthead. He's also the creator of King of the Hill. At the time of Office Space, I don't know if King of the Hill was around yet. But so then Office Space becomes one of the biggest cult classics ever. Studio comes crawling back to him, do another movie, we'll do it. And he's like, you got to release it full. I got you have to. And so they promised him, but then what happened?
It did.
Yeah, they released it in like 10 theaters. Yeah. Nobody heard of it again. But again, it's become a cult classic.
Oh, absolutely. And there's multiple ways to look at this movie.
Yeah.
You can look at it from a comedic standpoint.
Yeah.
You can look at it bluntly in today's society from a political standpoint.
Yeah, this watching this movie in this day and age, some things kind of feel too close to a little awkward or too close to home. That's for darn sure.
But also, one I would say, do you know what the most important thing to have come?
What's that? Oh,
Crocs came from this movie.
Oh, really?
Yes. The really shitty shoes you see at like Target and Walmart.
Yeah.
Crocs are like plastic shoes.
Yeah.
They came from this movie.
Oh, so
the first thing they were ever in was on Luke Wilson's seat in this movie.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing, just a little shout out to Mike Judge here. Mike Judge, a lot of people don't realize, he is the undisputed king of revivals. No one can touch him. He does revivals better than anyone in this business. He did a revival of Beavis and Butthead. They're on season 3 is going on right now, and it's just as good. I would argue better than Beavis and Butthead.
What network is that on? Paramount?
Yeah, I believe they're on Paramount, and because they still have music videos, but they also now they sprinkle like YouTube videos and stuff. And now because before they did another movie, which was great, but it's not always just. Sometimes it's the two of them, the kids with all the characters you know and love. Sometimes it's middle-aged Beavis and Butthead, which is they are amazing.
It's so great.
Yeah, but then also, as I mentioned, he did King of the Hill, and there was a King of the Hill revival that came out recently.
Yep.
And I have 2 episodes left. The revival is absolutely amazing. It's great, very well done. So basically, check both of those out. If I had to pick one of the two, I'd say Beavis and Butthead is just great. But they're both really well done.
And I would say, looking at this movie, and I think this must have been because of Office Space.
Yeah.
The cast that Mike Judge got for this movie, really, really.
Oh yeah, really good. So the opening is just hilarious. So I got to tell you basically a little blurb here. So 2 human guinea pigs awaken 500 years into the future to see a society dominated by idiots in this irreverent satire.
This we already mentioned, it was written and directed by, this got a 71% by the critics and a 61% by the audience, and no money in theaters.
Yeah, it made like $5. And yeah, 70, and it should be certified fresh. Absolutely should.
Yes, without a doubt. My guess is that just simply they were scared.
Yeah. And so the opening is great where they kind of explain. So with a voiceover, talk about how what happened to like the dumbing down of like, and you have like, video confessional of like these really smart people that why they don't end up having kids.
They want to have kids at the perfect time, and so they never have time. It's never the right time to have kids. But then you look at the dum-dums, and they have like 1,000.
Yeah, exactly. The Cleavon family tree is nuts. There's so many different, like, branches. And so that's just really well done.
Yeah.
And then we got Luke Wilson. His character, Joe, is in the military.
He's in the military, and what he's meant to be, to start this out, he's in some sort of, like, place library or some shit where he's basically watching over it. And he's meant to be kind of the average soldier, like literally halfway on everything.
Yeah, and he does he's being replaced, which he's like, oh no, I want to, 8 more years of just sitting here doing nothing. I get my pen, I can get my pension, and I swear, you guys always tell me lead, follow, and get out of the way, and every single time I do the right thing and get out of the way.
And they're like, dude, that's not what that saying's supposed to be.
You're not supposed to get out of the way. It's supposed to lead, or at least be embarrassed enough to follow.
Exactly. And so they pull him to be in this hibernation study.
Yeah. Basically, he's gonna be kind of, I don't know what it's wrong, but basically he's gonna hibernate for a year and then be woken up.
And be woken up because basically want to see if it's something they can use long term. Now they couldn't find a female soldier to do it, so they found a female working girl. Yeah,
and so this is my favorite scene in the movie is with just the generals or whatever, with one of the military guy that's talking about how they they had to go through and work out a deal with her pimp upgrade with 2 Ds, and and how they had to get in his good grades, and it's like it's a slideshow, right? Also, and just all the pictures of that guy partying with the pimp and his girls is just hilarious.
It was such a subtle thing to put in there that was so great.
Yeah, and Joe is just remarkably calm about this, and he does not understand her. He doesn't get that she's a prostitute.
No, he thinks she's a painter.
Yeah, which is really, really funny.
Yeah. So he thinks she's a painter, and
yeah. And so it comes back to haunt him. The whole the not Joe. Well, I guess generally Joe. The whole with the guy that was he got really. I guess that general got really into the pimp life, and that leads to the place becoming shut down at a landfill.
Yeah, and it sounds like, to err on the side of caution, he was the only person who knew about it, and so no one knows that him and Maya Rudolph are in hibernation.
And some may argue, okay, so we know there was more people involved, or how for 500 years do those things stay powered? Okay, no, that's not the point. The point is, this is a comedy, this is a satire. We need to get them to 500 years in the future as early in the movie as possible. Okay?
Exactly, and let's not spend 45 minutes getting them there. Yeah. Let's get them there in 5 minutes and just explain it with one line of dialogue, and we're good.
Yeah, because one, this is a comedy, not a drama. 2, this movie's 80 minutes flat. So this is a short movie. One of the issues I had, I think there's some areas where I think they did not take enough time. But so they needed to get to it because it's already just being as cut to the chase as they can. It's already a decent chunk before Joe wakes up and meets his lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, we see, they talk about the population getting dumber. And then, his pod opens because it crashes into the living room. Dax Shepard does really well. And you see just the TV is just, what's playing on the TV is hilarious.
Oh, it's how I got kicked in my nuts or something like that.
And it's 80% of the screen is pop-up ads.
And I will say that Dax Shepard has a place, especially in this time of movies. I think he's more retired more than anything.
Yeah, no, he's more retired, helping raise his kids with Kristen.
He's still married to Kristen Bell,
yeah.
And it's just they have a bunch of kids, and I think he had his point. He did a string of movies like this. Yeah. He was amazing in them.
Yeah, I enjoyed him in Without a Paddle, the one with Seth Green and was it oh god, the guy from Scream too, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought Dax Shepard was perfectly cast.
Yeah. So so again, Joe's walking around, he's trying to talk to me, he doesn't understand. Here's one thing that, like, kind of a disclaimer. I get, just know, when you're watching this, early on in the movie, they kind of stop it after the kind of initial thing. There's a couple of words that are very, very dated, but there's two things that I got. One, this is 2006.
Yeah.
And the words are basically variations of retard and the FAG word. Now, one, you got to remember this is 2006. Two, you also have to remember the world is it's not Joe that's saying these things.
No. It's also meant to. It's meant to be a dumb.
Yes, exactly. These are literally everybody's like the stupidest people in the world, and so I think they're showing the stupidest people in the world say these words. So in that context, I get it.
Given that if Mike Judge were making it today, he obviously wouldn't put those in there. But
But he finds a hospital. It's really fun. Like again, everything's half-assed. Nothing's done right. The sign on the hospital, like they ran out of room, so like literally the letters curved down. Like it's funny. Slot machine for free medical care.
Yes, slot machine for free medical care, and it's like apparently everybody has a tattoo on them with a barcode with like their money.
Yeah.
And it's like, they freak out when they see he doesn't have one.
Yeah, and here is where there's not a whole lot of major gripes with this movie. This is one of my main gripes. Is that I enjoyed seeing the slot machine for free medical care. This is that's one of the things you know what? It's commentary that it's kind of funny, especially here in the United States and whatnot. I just would have liked, I'm not saying 20 minutes. I would have liked at different spots in this movie, maybe 5, 7, 8, and maybe this is something the studio made them cut. Maybe they had, but I would have liked a few more examples, just kind of of this kind of stuff, this kind of stuff, and a few more scattered throughout. It's not a big gripe, but I would have enjoyed a little bit more.
Especially in the hospital, I would have liked show a couple rooms.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Show a couple rooms of weird stuff. It lets you be creative.
Yeah, and then Gatorade in the water fountain.
Yeah,
yeah.
It has electrolyte.
It's what plants crave.
Yeah.
And so we have the health master Inferno where he's describing the symptoms and the lady's just it's just pictures just very basic pictures and she's trying to figure it's just. And
what's funny is that one is kill the person.
Yeah. Which is good. Justin Long makes an appearance.
Justin Long makes an appearance. He would have been pretty big.
Yeah, probably would have been fairly. Oh, a side note, I forgot to mention this. So early on, when the very beginning, first scene in the movie, when he's getting replaced by a somewhat known actor. His days passed, but doesn't say a word, and that's Shia LaBeouf. So there's two soldiers there. Earlier Shia LaBeouf had a little cameo, and Justin Long plays a burnout, drugged out doc.
Yeah,
and so he's basically he gets freaked out because he doesn't have the tattoo and whatnot.
He gets freaked out getting that tattoo, and he basically what do you call it? Luke Shepard.
Yeah,
Luke Wilson runs.
Yes, and then you see a lot of ads. Again, this is kind of like the slot machine for free medical care. I like a nice touch. The ads in this world are fucking aggressive.
Oh, they're so great. But also, along this line, what I would have liked to, especially since the movie's, it's 80 minutes, and they also padded it a little bit to make sure they got to 80 minutes.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little bit until later on in the movie. I would have, there's about a 45-minute stretch where we don't see Maya Rudolph.
Yeah, there's a big.
I would have liked to know what she was doing when her pod landed.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that too. So he gets brought forth a judge. Again, another known actor as a judge, Stephen Root. Yeah. He's had a good career, both drama, comedy. He's he's in this movie because he had a memorable role in Office Space, as you know. This is a stapler guy. I forget his name, but Stephen Root's had just an amazing career, and basically he's like his lawyer, like Dax Shepard's his lawyer, and it's basically he's guilty because look at him.
Exactly, and basically Dax Shepard joins them on the other side.
Yeah. So he tried. And so he before they catch him though. Again, one of the funnier things. So Joe's walking around. This is when he gets caught. Is like the automated Carl's Jr.
Oh yeah, he gets arrested at Carl's Jr.
Yeah, and there's like this woman is trying to get it, but she doesn't have any money, and like the sayings, like the thing starts saying, "Your kids will be placed in the custody of Carl's Jr." That was my favorite one. Is fucking hilarious.
And which brings me to something that Mike Judge must have an amazing look.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because obviously there wasn't anything bad with Carl's Jr., but you have to get Carl's Jr. to approve using them. Which is why I bring up Starbucks. Starbucks had to approve their name in this movie, but Starbucks didn't serve coffee in this movie. Starbucks served hand jobs.
I was like, I could really go for a Starbucks. We don't have time for a hand job right now.
which is an amazing joke, and it's insanely funny. But how they got Starbucks to approve using their name, I don't know.
Well, I mean, we are talking almost 20 years ago. They were around, but maybe this is as they're coming. Maybe they thought the exposure.
And realistically, it was a good decision because no one in their right mind would think that that's what Starbucks actually is.
Yeah. So Rita. So at this point, Rita's also awoken after they show her after she Luke Wilson gets put in prison, and she sees right away that like prostituting is a lot easier. Yeah. She doesn't even have to do anything. She can just get them to give their money and come back the next day to give more money. Which is
I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. She basically stands at a corner, dresses up, and it's like, it just basically talks him into giving her a shit ton of money, and it's like, but you're still on the clock.
Yeah, come back tomorrow and I'll be ready. So he gets Joe before he goes to prison. He gets his tattoo, and because the machines suck, he gets rebranded with a new name.
New name of not sure.
Yep. So and then they give him an aptitude test,
and he's the smartest person of all time.
Yeah, and this is a really basic aptitude test.
Now, can I point out a small and part of this is 2006.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not the smartest person
in
the world. Maya Rudolph is
Maya
Rudolph is the smartest person in the world. But I don't think in 2006 they were ready to. But it's like, but let's be real. Maya Rudolph was way smart.
Oh God, yes. Joe didn't even realize that she was a prostitute, and so and this aptitude test is basic. It's like
put a circle in a circle.
Yeah. The question is a guy has one bucket that's filled with 2 gallons of water. And he's given another bucket with 1 gallon of water. How many buckets does he have? It's Joe's he's like 2? It's and he goes to prison. And
he goes to prison and he sees promptly he's gonna be great right away.
Yes.
And so he simply tells the guard that he's in the wrong line and he's supposed to get out today.
Yeah, and so he gets scared.
Idiot, you're in the wrong line.
And so he goes. Which is funny. They run into each other again. She talks about her pimp and stuff like that. But again, he still thinks it's an art. Wow, you really need you have an aggressive art manager.
You might want to have a boyfriend and have a separate art manager.
Yeah, and she's she learns quickly that it's 500 years, but she's still convinced the upgrade is going to come back.
Yeah, she's afraid Upgrade's going to like find a what do you call it?
Yeah,
which makes me think maybe she's not.
Yeah. Well, did you know this movie has a post-credit scene?
I did not.
It has a post-credit scene.
Oh,
she was right. The post-credit scene is another pod opening in the landfill, and Upgrade getting out of the pod. It's like, that bitch owes me money, and then walk in. No, she was right. There's a post-credit scene where Upgrade does arrive in the future and is now hunting down Maya Rudolph to get the money she owes. I thought that was a great touch.
That's great.
Yeah, so like they're looking for a time machine. Dax says
he knows where a time machine is.
Yeah,
and it's by Costco.
Yeah, it's in Costco, and Costco is like really huge now.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Yeah, and so so they have he went to law school at Costco, which apparently is like a big awesome deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could say that a lot of this stuff couldn't happen. But.
Yeah, I think this is where the Starbucks line is. Joe's looking at line. Geez, Starbucks changed.
Yeah, this is where he realizes that.
Yeah, and eventually Joe gets caught heading to the time, about to get into head to the tram or whatever that's going to take him to the time machine.
Their society is like our society, where there's cameras everywhere. And they simply scanned his barcode on his wrist.
Yep, and but we learn he's not getting taken back to jail.
No, he's taken to the White House.
Yes, because his aptitude test came back, and he is the smartest man in the world.
And they need him to figure out how to grow plant.
Yep, and so he's going to become the Secretary of Interior.
Yeah,
and we meet the rest of the cabinet.
We meet the rest of the cabinet, which is one of the guys from Office Space.
Yeah,
I forget which one he is.
I know there's a heavyset guy, Horatio Sands.
Yes,
and then there's
like a kid that won a contest.
Yeah, there's the Secretary of Education, which is even in their context he's really really dumb. He's got a gun pointed at himself, playing with it. As a teacher, who knows that certain sides of the political aisle, when they get into office, they always put in fucking morons in the position of Secretary of Education that don't know. And this is both at the national level and at the state level, because we often have our this is hit close to home. This hit close to home, and I personally thought that touch. That character doesn't really do much other than just that moment, but I thought that touch was really, really. I enjoy that.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really good, and it's like, okay, if you can get the plants to grow, you'll get a pardon.
Yeah,
and he goes out to, and then first thing he does is make sure they get Dak and Maya Rudolph.
Yeah. There. Oh, but first we get introduced to the president.
Oh, the president.
The president.
This must be one of his first roles.
When it was early on.
He's not Terry Crews in this movie.
No, yeah,
he's Terry Allen Crews.
Yes, and it's Terry Crews. He was a cast member in Everybody Hates Chris, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He is a president, former wrestler. I'm just gonna leave it at this one hits. This one hits. Yeah, this one hits close. Yes, this was, I'm watching this. I was like. Oh yeah, that's never gonna happen, and nothing like that. And so that's kind of. But he plays it really well. It's one of his earlier roles.
He does it really well, and he tries to be smart with it, but it's hard for him. But it's like he brings in Luke Wilson. He's like, okay, you're the smartest person in the world, and he needs you to figure out how to grow the plants and to stop the dust storm.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing, and here's another one. Not so much a gripe, but again, I think it could have used more time, and there's actually cutting off some stuff towards the end. I actually would have liked to seen a little more time, few more scenes with this cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay, we only get a couple of quick scenes with the cabinet members, and I really there's
the cabinet was great.
Yeah, and they just nailed it out of the park. So he goes out to the dust bowl to see why the plants aren't growing, and he's worried that he's not going to be able to figure it out.
And as he's doing that, the sprinklers start going.
Yep.
And he realizes they're putting Gatorade, or what he called Brondo, which is basically green Gatorade, on the plants, because it's what plants crave.
Yep. And so this is when we get hit with another thing for the narrator. And this is, again, another thing that just hits like, oh my God, in 2025. Basically, what happened was, like, Brondo, basically Gatorade, because Gatorade's not going to, fucking agree to this kind of slander. They felt that water was, honing in on their market share. So they bought the FCC and they bought the FDA. So then they went ahead and they just decided that. So they told everybody that plants crave electrolytes and Brondo has electrolytes. So because people were stupid, they started watering plants with fucking Gatorade.
Yeah. And if you're like, hey, that would have killed him, right? It's a comedy.
Yes. Yeah. And so slowly it's turned to, nothing fucking grows.
The whole world is fucking dust and, like, fast food.
Yeah. And so again, which really, again, so we know it probably has, and so long term, that means there's crazy dust storms, things like that. And again, a lot of the problems are tied, to this.
And what's funny is Luke Wilson's like, I don't know much, but I know one thing is that water makes plants grow.
Yeah. And he's like, he learned that this might be easier to solve after all. But, like, everyone's like, wait, you mean, like, from a toilet?
Yeah, that's what's funny. It's like, I think we need to put water on the crop. What, like, from the toilet?
And so eventually, the funny is, eventually he had to convince. He decided that he had to try to convince them that he could talk to plants, which they believed instantly.
Yeah.
And so they start growing it with water.
They start growing it with water, and the whole cabinet and president expect the plants to grow immediately.
Yep. And also because, what Joe doesn't know is that apparently, if you're big enough to buy the FCC and buy the FDA, apparently Brondo as a parent company owns like half of everything, and like everybody, like most people's jobs and money is completely tied into Brondo.
And by the president saying that Brondo isn't for plants, half the people just lost their job.
Yep, and like the stock went to zero, and so everybody loses their money instantly. Everybody, like so many people had a job, and they're at the White House. Everyone's at the White House with picket fence.
Everybody's at the White House with picket fences, and they're pissed because it's now been probably 30 minutes, and they don't see the plants growing, and they're like, "This guy's screwing."
Yeah. And so then we get to, so now he's going to face, rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, which is, how do you rehabilitate in Idiocracy?
Basically, it's kind of like a Thunderdome experience, and big, huge trucks with dildos are going to kill your ass.
Yep.
I will say this sequence, the ending, I thought it went on way too long. And it just didn't quite hit. I would have liked to cut a little bit of time from it.
I would have liked to see him cut for this and add more time with the cabinet leading up to it.
Yeah.
Or lead more time with Maya Rudolph in that time we talked about before.
Yeah.
Basically, I think of an 80-minute movie, they probably spent 15 minutes on it.
Yes,
which is a lot.
Yeah, so because like Maya, she can't watch. She's at like the White House or whatever somewhere. She sees that the plants are growing, and so she's trying to get the live feed to show. And then she sends Dax and somebody else, but like they get distracted and get hand jobs, But then they eventually, the last second, as Luke's about to die, they kind of are able to show. Yeah. The plants have grown. So yeah, it's moments like the whole Joe Schrock having a real flaccid dick was funny. I thought, and the other one's the one that they made so big that couldn't get through. That was comical, but again, yeah, I agree. Way too much time.
Way too much time, and let's put it this way: if they were going to do it, they should have thought of something more than what they did.
Yeah. So I don't. The ending just didn't hit.
But then it didn't really hit. But what ends up happening is that after this, then what do you call it? Luke Wilson and Maya want to go to the time machine.
Yep. And this is I knew it the entire time. Yeah, it's a ride.
It's a ride in Costco.
Yeah, it's a ride in Costco. And the funny thing is, it's like it was a ride all along. It's like, yeah, it was a ride all along. I just, what you thought a time machine was real, because like Luke Wilson promised to start like a bank account for him in the past that would be worth billions of dollars, but Dax didn't realize that if the time machine wasn't real, that like they wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. So that was good. That was kind of funny how that played out. He ended up being, Joe became the vice president.
Joe became the vice president and later on the president.
Yeah, it's kind of started to like incrementally make things better, but you also got to get the impression that it's not going to get too much better because again,
as they explained, him and Maya Rudolph had 3 beautiful kids.
Yeah, they were all the smartest kids in the world.
All the smartest kids, and then Dak probably had
eight wives and had like dozens of kids that were dumb as fucking shit, which was very. But it was kind of all right. And then again, you get there's a post credit scene, so stay for the post credit scene where it goes back to the landfill upgrade. Busts it open, he gets out, he starts stomping like, where's that bitch? I'm gonna get me my money. I thought it was great. So
well, cool.
So all right, so for our scale, there's diamonds and there's duds. Okay, Diamond is a legitimately good movie. The scale can go from 1. A scale can go up to 5. 1 being like, it's good, but I don't know if I'm going to hit it again. 5 being like, this is an all-time classic. Dud it's a bad movie. Like 1 is like, claw my eyes out before I ever watch this again. But 5 is like, but higher it goes, it's like, so bad it's good. It's a terrible movie, but there's fun elements that you just enjoy. Guilty pleasure kind of thing.
And I've been going back and forth on this. And I think this might be the definition of like a dud 4.5.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to say is that I almost said like a diamond 1. Yeah. But I think this is probably a dud, but it's like the definition of. Yeah. I'd say like dud.
Yeah. I gave it a diamond. It has a lot of good ideas. And there's some fun, and there's some funny elements. Luke Wilson does well in the straight man role. But I think there's enough problems. Whereas, I don't think we've seen since Maya Rudolph is a terrifically funny actress. She's fine in this. I just don't think they fully unleashed her. And that's good cast, but again, some things like the ending got a little. And they, I think I would have liked to see some more time spent in some other areas. Again, all problems that could have been, the studio, because we know the studio really interfered and screwed Mike Judge over, and I don't think he ever did another movie after this. No, it's only been that's not Beavis and Butthead, and so and this Beavis and Butthead sequel went to streaming, and so I think it's a diamond, but I got it at a 2. So I think it's a legitimately good movie, but could have used a little bit more work in a few.
Great cast, great ideas. It just probably to no fault of Mike Judge.
Yeah, and definitely interesting to watch at least time.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so as I said, I realized I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen the ending. I thought I had, but I hadn't seen the sequence. With like the trucks and the dicks or whatever. I hadn't seen that. I had seen just most of the rest of the movie, but for whatever reason I hadn't seen that.
Cool.
So next time, what are we looking at next time, Ivan?
We're gonna watch a movie with your favorite cartoon character.
Oh yeah,
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah, growing up, I was a Winnie the Pooh fan. I'm taking the bullet on this one. We've talked about doing this one since early, because we've been doing this podcast for more than a year now. And we talked about, I said a long time ago, I'd do it. I'd bite the bullet. we're gonna be dipping into horror a little bit. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
You don't sound too enthused.
I'm not. I'm sacrificing part of my soul. Part of my soul is gonna die watching this movie, but you know what? It's gonna be worth it. And hey, maybe it'll be the diamond I never thought I'd find. Probably.
Well, follow us on all the different social
all the things,
and you can watch and listen to the podcast everywhere. And have a wonderful rest of your day.
Adios.
Bye.